Right, so nice livery here from Agent, and we are at beautiful Athens. Quite nice. Boeing 777, hey Blackboards, thanks for the touch and go tutorial, very nice. Just a quick question, is there any restrictions for runway length for touch and go training? Yeah, you should be looking at a runway at least 2,000 meters long, because, you know, touching down and doing the items like setting flaps 2, retrimming, it just takes its time. So 2,000 meters should be fine. Ole Dane, good evening. Yes, that is an existing airline. At least I saw them flying around not too long ago. Pettersby, hi, welcome. And Luca, hi. Right, so where was I? Oh yes, I was doing the pre-planning. When you touch and goes, why select flaps 2, not 3? Because 3 just creates a lot of drag. So that's, you know, in the training patterns that I've seen, it's always flaps 2, not flaps 3. Ah, okay, on this baby, yeah, I see. Right, so let me just check. I did have a routing for that. Yeah, no worries, Rob. So I just need to get the routing real quickly because for some reason PFPX does not have any routings for that. Here we go. So it is the, was it Ablon? Ablon 1 Tango, Ablon. Then Bravo 1 and Sierra Kilo Papa. There we go. So oh, hang on. I keep forgetting that it doesn't show you the route. Right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to take off from Athens, runway 03 right. The wind is presently, let me just check. Oh. So the wind is variable 1 knot and then few 2,500, scattered 7,000. Calm. Thank you, Nick. Yeah. All right, so we'll do that. Alternates, let's see, we have, I will take Athens as alternate, so close by. All right, we'll compute that. Yeah, 03 right, Nick, that's what I'm going to take. Yeah. So release fuel is about 4 tons. We'll put that in, and so let's get started. As always, guys, anybody new here, feel free to ask questions. I try to answer them as quickly as possible. Now, I know there's upload function and so on, but I'm just gonna type this in. This is really short. So Athens to Skiathos, and alternate is again Athens, and with, oh, what's And we know the Asian ICAO, it is Alpha Echo Echo. Okay, interesting. 522. We'll take 15 cost index, and the cruising level according to PFPX is level 160. We'll trust PFPX on that. Now block fuel 4 tons. Let me put that in. Fuel. When you rotate, what exactly are you pitching for? Do you keep pitching up until airspeed? No, the initial pitch is 15 degrees in the A320. And from 15 degrees, then you have a look and see how the pitch behaves. Usually with toga power, you probably have to have about 18, 19 degrees pitch. But 15 is the first kind of, the pitch value you always aim for first. Go around wind shear, it's always 15 degrees, and then adjust the pitch accordingly. Did I put that in now? Oh yes, I have. Nice. Okay. So 4 tons, and the alternate fuel looks good. MCK, hi, welcome. Departure 03 right, and it's the Ablon 1 Tango, we said. Insert all the way to Ablon, and then it is the Bravo 1. Bravo 1. What do you mean it's not in a database? There it is. Strange. All the way to Sierra Kilo Papa, and from Sierra Kilo Papa then we'll shoot the approach. It's a standard approach, nice and non-precision with an NDB approach. I'll show you that in a second. Very interesting. Now I'm sure most of you will know the airport of Skiathos, where they have, it's like the Greece St. Martin's, they call it. So this will be the approach we're going to fly. Here we are. That's the approach that we'll take. David, hi, MCDU question. Is it true that newer airplanes, the flex temperature and flaps config doesn't need to be set before the V-speed calculations are made? So we don't suppose entering V-speeds before the other info was filled in. Now, usually the speeds and the flex are calculated separately by a separate computer program, and so it doesn't matter which way around you do it. When you fill in the performance page, you'll have the speeds. Now, if you do it in the FSLabs MCDU without putting in flaps, oh, it actually does have speeds. I was just about to say it doesn't have the correct speeds, but it does. But in real life, when you have all the values, then it doesn't matter which way around you put them in, as long as all the fields are filled in. Right, so we set for the approach from Sierra Kilo Papa, we'll just shoot a standard NDB approach, and we'll just have an NDB needle, and so from 10 dmi at some point we're gonna have to be visual with the field. So 1600 is so we have Sierra Kilo Papa and Sierra Kilo Charlie as 2 NDBs, so no ILS, no DME. Oh, hey, sorry, that's a DME station. So we have the Sierra Kilo Charlie beacon here, and it says VOR DME required. And so very simple locator approach is offset, obviously. And the runway is very short, 1,570 meters long, 1,570 meters, not very long. We'll see how that goes. So for the arrival, I'm just gonna choose, if I put in the NDB02, I'm going to get, I think the Arnav coded approach here. Yeah. So we'll see how that looks. All right, so Sierra Kilo Papa, and then we'll shoot the approach. All right, looks good. I know the most of the emergencies are programmed into the system, but you normally would like to bring any kind of QH to the plane anyway, wouldn't you? So this, for thrust setting and analyze communication, like the yeah, there are certain QRH checklists. Now, obviously, since you have an ACAM here, where all the checklists usually come up on the ACAM display, there's nevertheless some QRH procedures, like the unreliable speed indication procedure. So yeah, then you'll find some pitch and power values there, exactly. Yeah. Maybe a bit specific, but landings on runway 25 right would use automatic low to save brakes or medium. It depends, Eki. It depends on the landing direction and your parking position. So you have to be flexible there. Yeah, captain's only approach, yeah. Well, Airbus fan, the thing is, medium auto brake heats up the brakes quite a lot. So it'll increase wear of the brakes. And so depending on the parking position, you know, it wouldn't make much sense to do brake hard. So for example, if you land on 25 left and you're parking somewhere near the east part of the airfield, then you'll use auto brake medium. If you park somewhere near the west part, near the cargo, Victor 170 or something, then you have auto brake low or even no auto brake to have a long rollout if tower allows you. Right, so flaps will be taking one. I'll tell you what, let's have a top cat calculation here. Let's see what top cat says. All right, so Athens. Yeah, I was saying, I don't know if he really, you know, understood your question in that case. MCK, I don't have time for you now. Send me the link, please. I'll have a look when I'm offline. Prince, hi, welcome. Pilot heads, we normally use auto brake for low or even off. Yeah, have a place in Apple or La Palma, then normally or medium. Yes. Yeah, the thing is exactly the main thing. First thing is you have to make sure that your landing distance is good enough. So for here, I'm gonna put in 5 knots. So I'm gonna put in 0 wind here. Yes, of course. So you make sure that your landing distance is you know, enough. And if you have enough margin, then you can think about auto brake low or even auto brake off. I don't know. I just like the separate program, to be honest, just to do that. Right. Let me just. Oh, I need to program Aktive Sky in just a second. Flight plan, LGAV.
Autopilot. Autopilot.
And Prince Pialny, thank you for the follow, man. Welcome to the channel. and 16,000 feet. Right. So let's have a look at the weather here. So we'll get the latest weather request, LGAV, sent. And so 03 right, temperature is 10 degrees, QNH 1019, dry, and the takeoff weight is about 60,800. Yeah, planning is longer than the flight. You're right. Okay, let's compute this. We'll be off very shortly. Now, it's a long runway in Athens, so we can flex all the way down to 67, flaps 1 plus F. .67 flex. We'll take 1,800 feet engine out acceleration, and we have the speeds 1464646. Transition is in 9,000, and we'll do the thrust reduction and acceleration. We'll just check, is it yeah, we'll take it 1300. We'll do the NADP 2 departure. Yeah, 67 is the maximum, Brennell, yeah. Right, so, and we have up 0.3. So let's set the departure nav aids. Aplon 1 Tango. So we'll be flying radio 033 from Sierra Papa Alpha. To 12 DME, then right turn direct Alpha Tango Victor. Right turn max 230 knots, minimum 25-degree bank, and then right, intercept radio 345 to Aplon. Okay. Let me just show you that on a picture. There's so many departures. I'm looking for all the departures. To Juliet. There we are. Okay, so this is the departure. So we'll climb out 12 miles, then it's a teardrop-like turn back to Athens VOR, overfly waypoint, and then we'll intercept the radial to Aplon. Maybe we get a shortcut, who knows. Time to batch for group flight, it should be in about an hour 30, I would think, at 21 UTC. Right, so we have finished our preparations. Let me get my checklist. So, before start checklist, cockpit preparations have been completed. Oh, I forgot to set minimum flight level 100 at Avalon. We'll do that. So, cockpit preparations completed. Signs are on and auto. Fuel quantity is 4,000 kilograms. Altimeters we have presently 1019. 1019 is set and we have 330 feet. Below the line, windows, doors closed, beacon is on, thrust levers idle, and parking brake is set. So ready for departure. Chart, oh my god, yes guys. Nice, thank you. Alright, so here we are. So we've done all the checklists. Let's get GSX in here. A manual engine start. Let me just check.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Yeah, I'll see if I can do it without a checklist. Alright, MCK, I have your links, so I'll have a look at it offline, alright? Yeah, exactly, Bruno, yeah. But it's okay, we can do that. Yes, Mythcare. Like I said, if you don't want to calculate that with TopCat, once you've entered the weights, you filled out the init page correctly, you'll select flaps 1, and then you double-click the speeds, and then you'll have these speeds inserted into the FMS. Yeah, yeah, Jumbo. I noticed that it does interfere with the picture, right? So, what are you waiting for? I'm gonna look forward to the EAE engine sound. Nice.
Locking gear.
Yep, APU bleed. We'll have to switch it on before we start the engines. Good catch.
Departure check completed. Pipe has been inserted. Release parking brakes.
It is released. Come on.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start that wheel.
Yeah, Bruno, sometimes GSX needs a couple of tries. It's Monday, they're slow today. Yeah. Alright, so manual engine start. And what we'll do is we'll select, hang on. So for this, we're gonna have to use the manual start switch here. So we'll just wait for the bleed pressure. That's there. And so
Set parking brakes.
that switch just opens the bleed valve. And so now N2 is rotating, and at 20%, what we'll do at 20% now is just select engine 2, start switch into on. That'll give you the fuel flow and the ignition and so on.
Unlocking gear.
So it's slow. The EAE engines are slow, so don't be worried if it takes a few seconds.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass main removed.
And then at about 50%, we'll select that start switch to off. That way,
Autopilot. Autopilot.
oh, that's interesting. Alpen Django, thank you so much for the follow.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
That shouldn't have happened.
Clear to start engines.
That is strange. Yeah, it says engine failed, but that's incorrect. Because the engine was at 50%, so it should have really run its, yeah. Yeah, we'll try that again. Let me just check. But what we'll do first is we're going to crank it to get the residual fuel, as they say, out of the engine. So we're setting the switch to crank, and then we open the bleed valve. And so what happens now is the N2 rotates, but there won't be any fuel flow and there won't be any ignition. So it's just blowing the residual fuel out of the engine. Make sure we don't have a hot start on the second try. On the N1 mode, if you have a failure, if you have a fault in the FADEC, and for some reason the EPR ratio doesn't work anymore, you can switch to the N1 mode. And I don't think it works in the FSLabs. I'll be very surprised. Well, I haven't seen that fault yet, so. Right, so we've blown out the fuel. Gonna shut down the bleed valve again. Okay, so with AC bus 1 and 2 fault, you say it's okay. Right, N2 is below 20%, so we can re-engage. Let's try it again. Oh yeah, Berlin, those ground handlers are on strike, yeah. Now the airline industry is being pretty much being striked quite often, so not too much fun for the travelers. Now this interests me. I'm going to see how long we need to leave that. Oh, it's It's closed on its own. Okay. So let me just see and wait. It's strange enough. It says the engine is available, but it's still kind of running up. Now it's available. This available light shouldn't come on until the generator actually goes on bus. All right. So this is simple kind of procedure to start the engine manually. It's like in a 737, just like Bruno said. Yeah, Nikki, see you in a minute.
Oxygen will be provided. Mass like this will drop from the panels above you. Remain seated until a mass is towards you. This will start the oxygen supply.
Nice sound, I love it.
Mouth and breathe normal. Use the elastic strap to hold the plate.
Yeah, I'll put some lights on in a second.
Strap on each side like this. Remember to put your own mask on before helping others.
Well, in fact, what I'll do, I'll just increase the lighting a little bit. Is that better now for you guys with the lighting? I hope it is. Right, so after start flow, as always, switching off the APU, returning the engine mode selector to normal, setting flaps 1. And then we'll do our flight control check. Full left, full right, neutral, full down, full up, neutral, and rudder, full left, full right, neutral. And so we are reading the after start checklist, and it says anti-ice off ECAM status. Let's check the status is normal, and the trim is 0.3 set 0. Okay. After start checklist completed. Coolcraft, hi, welcome man. Right, ready for taxi. Just need to set those buttons again. Has any of you guys got problems with chase plane that it keeps resetting the keys or the joystick commands? It's really kind of annoying me. Hello Vlad, welcome. How are you? Yeah, maybe I was my feet weren't quite central. Hang on, let me just readjust the rudder pedals here. Yeah, Vlad, good evening. How are you, man? Welcome to the stream. When would I usually use the rudder trim? Only in engine failure case. The procedures are that you set 0 after start. And so only in case of an engine failure would I use the rudder trim. Rotary, no worries, man. Thank you for coming by nevertheless. So have a good night, have a good sleep. See you maybe next time. Piloted, yes, correct. It is. In real life, when you taxi onto runway 3 right, the last bit is quite a bit uphill, so you have to set a lot of power, especially if you had to stop beforehand. Oops, Vlad, are you still flying the 717? Or have you put it aside for now. Nick, no worries. I'll talk to you at least on Wednesday for our project. Einarst, hello, welcome. Why isn't real life? The rudder points either left or right. You mean on the ground? In the Airbus, you have no hydraulic power, and so whichever the wind direction is from, the rudder, the rudder will be pushed due to the wind. Right, let's do the last takeoff items here. Setting auto brake max and reading the takeoff or before takeoff checklist. Flight controls checked. Flaps 1+F. Takeoff speeds flex 446, 146, 146, and flex is 67. Ekamimo, takeoff no blue, so down to the line. Right, so we are approaching runway 03 right. Rob, yes, we will do more technical streams, yeah. The next thing I'll be covering is electrics, but that's a big topic. That's quite a complicated topic as well.
Autopilot. Autopilot.
Jix, thank you so much for the follow, man. Welcome to the stream. I don't know why. Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's a little bit delayed for me. Electrics. Well, the thing is, electrics is complicated, and so I hope I don't bore too many to death with that topic. It is complicated. Right, so below the line, runway, we have 03 right full length, and the packs are switched off. Weather's not too bad. Right, so engines are stable, takeoff. And starting the chrono. So now we have Manflex 67 SAS runway, and outer thrust is not blue. That is strange. But outer thrust is engaged. 100 knots checked.
Pull up, terrain. Pull up, don't sink. Too low, terrain.
Rotate.
Too low, gear. Too low, lap. Too low, terrain. Glide slope.
Positive climb. Gear up. Coolcraft. €5 donation. Thank you so much, man. He says, like your new stream UI, looking forward to A320 electric dozen. Thank you so much, Coolcraft. €5. Thank you, man. Yeah, so the UI, if you mean the banner, that was from Jack's RTV. Oh, now we have auto thrust engage. It's the first time I saw that the auto thrust wasn't blue in the sim. Really strange. Okay, Azabika, happened to you as well. Another little bug, yeah. Really weird. Right, we are approaching S speed.
Autopilot.
Flap 0.
Autopilot.
Moonman 1932, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. And entering some clouds, temperature is 13 degrees, so no need to engage the engine and the ice. Right, so pack 1 going on, and pack 2 also switching that on. Now flaps are up, you can disarm the spoilers, switching off the nose gear lights. And I need to put that on my checklist, TCAS. Wing anti-ice, yeah, you need to switch that on when you're in icing conditions, and you can see in real life some ice building up here. Now in a simulator it doesn't simulate this, so here you would just have a look at the temperature. If TAT is around 0 degrees, yeah, you might as well switch on wing anti-ice, but it's not modeled in the simulator itself. Gomendio, hey, welcome. Oh, the engines are loud again. Is the sound okay, guys, or is the volume from the engines too loud? So 12 miles from Spa and turning right. How do I pronounce the name so well? I'm sure I'm pronouncing so many names wrong. I always try to pronounce that. It has to do with respect. You know, I respect everyone coming here, so I try to pronounce everything correct. So the sound, Brandel, you say it's quite good. Okay, nice, thank you. Right, so level 100, we'll continue climb level 160 straight away. And to shorten the distance, we are going to go directly towards Ablon now. Direct Ablon insert, here we go. Yeah, now passing 10,000 feet, you switch off the lights, the landing lights, and if there's no turbulence and there's no big clouds ahead of you, you know, which could impose the risk of turbulence, then you can switch off the seatbelts into the auto or off, whatever. Yeah, we'll do a raw data approach, yeah. Oh, and something else, guys. I'm not sure if you are noticing some difference here. I'm using a new shader. It's called Toga. Is it called Nvidia? Hang on. Yeah, it's called from Toga project, and it's called Nvidia. I can't even pronounce that. Hang on. That's what it's called. Yeah. Lat. During the past weekend, I had some free time, and watched several of your streams I previously missed. Did you get to the bottom of the no land tree in the 747 after the fold? Because I had the same error and found... No, I did not get down the bottom of that. I have no idea. Okay. That is very interesting. So if you disconnect the ground power on the 747 without manually putting the APU generator on, you have a momentary AC power loss. Yep, that could be the case, but because it did arise on the ground, right? Yep, nice input for that, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, ENV text does also change some things like the water settings, sky settings, but it works. Apparently it works together quite nice with Aktive Sky and Aktive Sky Cloud Arts. And so I've tried it out. I've just installed it today, and we'll see how that goes. Looks nice. Coolcraft, okay. Is Aktive Sky Cloud Art worth it? It does make some nice textures. I've had a lot of people tell me in stream that they loved the way the clouds looked, and so I would say yes. It does make a difference, yeah. And it's worth the price, yeah. Yeah, the thing with PTA for me was that for some reason the lighting just became too bright. And so I tried different settings. I was getting frustrated because on the outside view, the aircraft reflections were just way too bright. And so I had to dim down the overall lighting. And so, yeah, so I'm trying NVText, and it looks nice so far. I'm quite happy. Brennelt, no, I would have to deinstall the settings. Skiathos, welcome back. Oh, Coolcraft, that's a difficult question. Oh, we already had to descend already. So we'll descend level 100 for now. Thrust idle descent level 100. Now with the exit signs. Now in auto, they should illuminate. I think it doesn't matter. Whatever, if the seatbelt signs are on or the no smoking auto are on, they would always cause, in case of a power loss, for example, and gear down, they would make the exit lights illuminate. That's what I would think. Yeah, Nick, that's true. There's ashtrays in the cockpit. That is true. Alright, so we'll do the locator approach in Skiathos. And let me just give you once more the... Can you explain the joystick movements, what you're focusing on? Yeah, I can try to do that, MCK, yeah. Yeah, Airbus fan. If you have a few low indication, a few temperature low indication, you would need to descend maybe something like between 5,000 and 8,000 feet. That should help you. Right, so we have about 40 miles to go. That should be fine. Yeah. Right, so what we'll do, we'll overfly Sierra Kilo Papa, and then we'll do a parallel kind of procedure here. So we'll return to Sierra Kilo Papa and then outbound tracking 203. So first of all, we'll get the weather data. A weather request, LGSK. Right, because if you level off, the thrust is coming up, which is what you want, because excess noise and fuel burn. Get focus on. Yeah, you do want to try to make a continuous descent. Yeah, that is true. It even says that on the arrival charts, that you should try for continuous descent. MCK, well, the most important thing is to focus. Once you get about 50 or 100 feet, start focusing towards the end of the runway. That way you will see the approximate rate to the runway a lot better. Bruno, we'll fly to Madeira today. Maybe you want to join us. What? It's raining? No, it's not raining. Come on. So we have QNH 1017. We have 9 degrees Celsius. The wind. It's live weather, Bruno. I can't do anything about it, okay? Now the minimum is really high, 1600 feet. So put an MDA 1600. And for the RADNAV, Sierra Kilo Papa. For the
monitor radar display. Go around. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead.
Rentasat, thank you so much for the sub, man. Welcome to the One Engine Out airline. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much. Guys, spam some emotes for a new member. Rentasat, welcome. Thank you, man. Nice. Alright, where was I? Sierra Kilo Papa, yeah. And so I'll put in the radial 203, that's the outbound radial. And if we want to fly this raw data, then we have to put in the course. Right. Seatbelts are on. We're going to switch on some lights here as well. So, for the briefing. Beautiful island settings here. Beautiful, look at that. Gorgeous sky. Very nice. Pretty. Right, before I get distracted again too much, let me just check. Okay, so from Sierra Kilo Papa outbound to 203 radial, we have to maintain 4,000 until 3 dmi from Sierra Kilo Papa. Then we can descend down to 2,000, which is the initial altitude. Maintaining that to 10 dmi from Sierra Kilo Papa. Then we'll do the turn onto final and intercept the 008 bearing from this NDB. And the minimum descent altitude is 1,600 feet, very high. And from there on, we'll continue visually towards the runway. It's an offset, so the runway track is 015, and the inbound track is 008, so 7 degrees offset. Runway very short, 1570 feet. And so no long flare. Guys, if you're looking for a soft landing here, then you're at the wrong airport. Here you need to really hit the touchdown zone and start braking. Otherwise, if you float too long, then you have to go around. And the missed approach goes straight ahead, 2,500 feet, right turn, maximum 185 knots, directly towards Sierra Kilo Papa. And we're climbing 4,000. And no acceleration below 2,500 feet. That's it, simple as that. Right, so we are descending towards 4,000 feet at the QNH was 1,017. Okay, I'm going to select its speed so we descend a little bit faster. We're going to reach 4,000 before Sierra Kilo Papa. What's the difference between cut, ILS cut, and when is what used? For example, I always use cut 3. Yeah, Skiathos. Now, usually you will always just use category 1, unless you have bad visibility and the airport calls out a category 2 or category 3 approach. You don't do that yourself. The airport has to announce that, or air traffic control has to announce that category 2 or category 3 is in use. Because of the protection zones which have to be implemented around the localizer and glide slope antennas. MCK, I made a nice video about Autoland, and for the category 2, if you land automatic, it's the same process as for category 3. Right, so for the descent, I'm always looking for certain windows. So for now, 10 miles will give me 3,000 feet more descent. With 7,000, so like the descent error here shows, we're going to reach 4,000 just prior to Sierra Kilo Papa. Then I'm going to go and heading 082, and then I'm going to turn back towards Sierra Kilo Papa after 1 minute. Exactly. Well, yeah, the decision height, that is different. Yeah, exactly, MCK. So for category 2, obviously you have different different minimum as for category 3. Can you simulate door blowing open in FSLabs? Well, you can do a door leak, so you can actually have a decompression. However, it's not explosive. It's more, it's a fast decompression, or fairly fast decompression, but it's not an explosive one. Yeah, you can usually ask air traffic controllers about the remaining distance, and so they will give you a certain you know, mileage. That helps, yeah. So let's slow down further to green dot speed, and the airport is over here. Now the HSI is showing us that we have selected an outbound course of 203. However, the station is pointed in this direction. So we're flying towards the station here. We're 2.5 miles out. Yeah, we're gonna fly raw data, so the disco is on purpose. Thank you for that. Yeah. So 1,000 feet to go. And someone pointed out correctly, this is the slant range. So 3,000 feet, we're about 1 mile away. So we're coming very close to the station. So I'm going to select heading, or track I should say, and I'm going to go and start turning outbound 082. So you can see the station now, right over at the station. 083 is the outbound. I'm going to start the chrono. I'm going to select 1 minute outbound, and then we'll turn back to the station. Alt star. Milidor, hello, welcome. So I have to say the textures, the water does look better now with using the Nvidia's Tommy, hello! Glad you can make it, man. Alright, almost 1 minute. Right, so I'm turning back towards the station now. Just a nice teardrop back. Probably have the heading of or track about 260, somewhere around there. We'll try 280 for now.
Autopilot.
DT Kapaner,
Autopilot.
or Kapaner, thank you for the follow, man. Outer brake medium, good co-pilots, nice. You guys are awake, MCK, thank you. Tommy, yeah, that stream overlay is from Jack's RTV. He made that for us. Now you can see why we have to maintain 4,000. The terrain here is pretty high, so good thing with the 4,000. So now the bearing is 280, so I'm gonna have probably 290, 5 miles from the station. Johnny Wing, welcome, hi. Renter said you cannot set maximum auto brake for landing. It's only for takeoff. It won't engage. So if I press it, it doesn't engage. Auto brake medium is only the max we can do. Right, so we are coming up towards the station again, and we're gonna have to intercept outbound the 203 radial. Now I'm gonna turn a few, like maybe 1 mile ahead or 2 miles ahead of the station. I'm gonna start turning to intercept. Right, 2 miles to go. And there's the airport. Right, so let's turn outbound, intercept the radial here. Yeah, no worries. It does take some time, Kieran. Right, so we set 4,000 until we're 3 miles outbound from Sierra Kilo Papa. So let's have a look if my track isn't too far off. So we're gonna have to center this bar on the HSI in order to fly the, here it comes. So not too bad, 203. Overshooting just a little bit, gonna have to re-intercept. Right, coming up to 3 miles, I'm gonna set 2,000 feet. And so we're losing 2,000 over 7 miles. So it's pretty much standard profile, a little bit less than 3. Right, so pulling the flight path angle, I'm going to set 2.9 degrees thereabouts. So selecting flaps 1, we want to slow down the aircraft now, configure it for landing. Note 2000, the minimum is 1600, but that's after the turn. Now we're going to have to display the ADF needle. Oh, that's interesting. Let me just check. Sierra Kilo Charlie. There it is. Right, so this is the inbound ADF needle we're going to have to track once we turn inbound. And selecting flaps 2. So 10 miles from Sierra Kilo Papa, we're going to turn inbound. Rob, yeah, you can, you know,
2,500.
let's check. You can say that pretty much, yeah. So 15 miles, yeah, you can reduce down to 210. If air traffic control doesn't give you any speed limits, then that's the way to go, yeah. So still tracking pretty much the outbound radio 203. 10 miles and we'll turn inbound. And now we have to intercept the QDR 008.
2,000.
So this checked. And the descent point is 6.1 from the runway. Now you can see the needle, ADF needle, is moving about pretty badly. So I'm gonna use this one here now to have an overlay. Right, gear is coming down. Now you can see the runway over here. And we have a vertical deviation bar, which I'm not going to use for now. So this is the final altitude, 1600. Now I'm still pushing, I'm flying this way. This is the head of the needle. I'm pushing the head of the needle towards 008. So that's just about right. So I'm going to turn the track now to 008. Try to stabilize it. Just have to correct it a little bit to the left here. Right, so we are going to descend down to 1600 now. Just a slow descent. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't have a DME at the airport, so we have from now on 1600 feet. We have to continue visually anyhow. So we are coming up to the final fix and selecting flaps 3 and selecting flaps 4. So we're pretty much on path. So I'm letting the aircraft stabilize before I take this manually. Done all the items, selecting some lights as well. Alright, so manual flight. From here on, 100 feet above minimum, we are going to fly manually. So 128, I'm gonna add 1 knot.
Minimum.
Continue. 1 knot to the V approach here. Right, what we can also do, once we're visual, we can start aligning for the center line. You don't have to maintain this track until the runway. So visually, I'm going to switch off the flight directors because I want to just see the bird, which will show me the profile. And as always, I'm going to use manual thrust here. So we said no soft landing. Well, we don't do a hard landing either, but we have a very short runway, so no need
1,000.
or no way to do a long flare here. 1000 is checked. Landing checklist with ECA Memo landing, no blue. A little bit high in the profile, so we start correct. Now you can see that the power settings, the needles, they look very low on the APR scale. Usually the needles would be somewhere in the middle here, but that's just the way the EPR works. So you can look here at those dials, those show the N1. So for me now, trying to get a good landing is I'm going to try and get the profile correct, and then I'm going to try to arrest the touchdown
500.
zone at a certain point in the window. So like here, I'm going to try to maintain
400.
that point. So if I leave the mouse pointer right there, so this is the view I would try to aim for.
300.
Still a bit high, I need to correct.
200.
And then at 100 feet, I'm going to start looking at the end of the runway.
100.
That way I can see the
40. 30. 20. Retard. 5.
touchdown, and not too bad. Spoilers are up. Reverse green, and I'm going to get some reverse here. I'm already at 70 knots past. So that's it. Nice landing. Yeah, that was not too bad. Yeah, so like I said, a lot of things happening very fast, but if you transition your view at 100 feet from the touchdown zone up to the end of the runway, that way you can see the closure rate, the approximate rate of the runway a lot better. Hands up, everyone who thought the Force and black box had, as always, I'm going to use. I would have done a go around if the brake had been too big, you know. Casillas, hi, welcome. How are you? So nice dusk landing here at Skiathos Airport. Very nice. Now, what I want to do a quick flight from Frankfurt to Düsseldorf on VATSIM, if those guys are still online. I'm going to have to check. And anybody wants to join me on VATSIM, they can do that as well. Let me just check that. Traffic. Where am I going? Hang on. We'll just park here. What's next? I'm going to do a flight on VATSIM. Yeah, VATSIM, Frankfurt to Düsseldorf here. Yeah, very short flight. But we want to do a group flight today. And so it has to be a short flight. Oh, it's a shame. So Frankfurt's not... Okay. It's okay. As long as Düsseldorf... I hope Düsseldorf remains online until we land. Pilot Edge, I'm not sure. I won't say no, but I have to see. Yeah, strobe's coming off. So I have to see if I can, you know, get that in sometime. So it's a beautiful kind of scenery. I do like that. Skiathos. Very nice. So APU is available. Switching off the engines. And we'll read the parking checklist in a second. I'm just gonna let in some air for the passengers. Switch off the beacon. Switch off the passenger signs. TCAS to standby. Predictive wind shear off. Alright, so parking. APU bleed is on. Yellow electric pump is off. Engines are off. Seatbelts off. Parking brake is on. And radar predictive wind shear is off. Right. Off we go to VATSIM.